well, I don't want to say imminent, but it looks like it's something that could very well happen.
All right, Shalom. I'd like to start out with saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harakar Kodash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone, my elder Heron as well. Salutations to the occupant of pushing the truth, the sincerity and truth, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, I'm Knaksan by Yasharala from the Lions of the Yashar account. This is another Lions in News and Prophecy. And you already know how we started out. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All right. Like I said before, like the scripture says, um, the words of Yahweh Shemel Shai shall not return unto him void, man. You know. So, Lord, when this lesson is edified and serves purpose for the hopeful elect and one who truly believe in the name of Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right. So, this the last lesson that I did was in reference to going into Britain saying that they're at war with Russia and they needed to spend 3% of the gross GDP or whatever of their gross economic profit. I, I'm not sure what the acronym for it was is, but 3% of it uh, uh, on their military defense. And well, of their government spending, but they were asked like how where they're going to get the funds from, and they were feeling like, hey, we got to grow the economy, but it's a little bit too late for that, right? So now, week prior we were doing the what the buildup was going on over there in the Pacific, and Japan just sent another, not Japan, but China just sent an aircraft area carrier over there, a carrier group, strike group over there in the Pacific on the easternmost point of Japan. All right. So now, with those two things that I explained, who is the common denominator with that? America. All right. So now I just got this article that we're doing the lesson on right now, and it says Israel launches strike against Iran as nuclear program talks falter. All right, so now we spoke about this happening because Israel felt like that the nuclear talks weren't going exactly the way they felt like they should be going, so they had a little bit of something to say about it. All right, and so these strikes have been planned for the past 2 days, and ultimately today they just pulled off these strikes. All right. So now, you know, this is all according to the will of Yahweh by Shemel Shai. All right. So we're gonna get into this we're gonna get into this article. We're gonna get a couple scriptures. All right. Hold on 1 second. All right. Hold on. All right. So let's get into this article real quick first. All right. It says Israel launched a military operation against Iran targeting Tehran's nuclear program on the evening of June 12th, right? According to the Israeli government. Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, Israel described the move as a preemptive strike in a statement and warned that Israel anticipates a missile and drone attack in response. The Israeli Defense Force said the strikes were conducted by dozens of aircraft. According to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Biddy, all right, the 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 IDF strike struck Iran's uranium enrichment facility at Natanz and hit additional targets at the heart of the Islamic Republic's enrichment program, nuclear weaponization program, and ballistic missile program. Netanyahu added that Iran's leading nuclear scientists were also targeted. All right. So the negotiation that Trump was having with Iran, Israel is not in agreement with. I don't nothing because Trump was saying that was going to happen anyway. Because there was another article that I was going to go into before this article came out, and it was talking about how Trump was saying that it's probably likely that Israel is going to strike Iran because how the nuclear talks weren't going as planned. You know, so those strikes happen. Those strikes happen, right? And there's a lot of things like we are so close to being out of here. But there's a few things that really need to happen before we're really out of here. Esau had to up his ante a little bit, and it has to be like a global collapse. Well, really, the chip has to be put in before you're gonna see before we get out of here. It has to be the heart of Jacob's trouble, which is what I'm saying in Revelation 13 to 16. What I'm saying, the MOTB. We're waiting on that to happen, but we are so close to that happening because of all the things that are going on in the world from the global economic standpoint. It's a perfect setup. It's a perfect lineup, right? For us to be out of here within within a matter of months, really, you know. So we are so close to where we only have time to be playing around, with all these things that are happening, riots that are happening here, riots that are happening in France and Spain. There's a whole lot of sedition among men's going on around here right now. And then wars and rumors of wars. But scripture says, see that you be not troubled. So we're not troubled at everything. We actually, the true believers in Yahweh Shema Shai are really rejoice at these things because we know that our captivity is almost over. All right. So it says, let's go on further in the article. It says Iran's state-run news agency reported sounds of explosions and heard in and near the country's capital of Tehran. It says U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio acknowledged the attack in a statement, stressing that American forces are not involved in strikes against Iran. See, they're trying to cop deuces, but no, you're not going to be able to cop deuces because America, the United States, is a major ally to Israel. So eventually, no matter how they try to, what I'm saying, play nonchalant in the matter, they're going to be pulled in. They're going to be pulled in because that's prophecy, man. That's prophecy. As a matter of fact, this is the elder did a lesson on this a couple months ago. It says Jeremiah 50:45. It said, "Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Babylon, and his purpose that he hath proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make your habitation desolate with them." See that? Because all right, Israel is going to draw them into a hot war, right? And both of those lands are going to be desolate, but Israel is going to be rebuilt, right, for us. But America is going to be totally desolate, never inhabited again. You see that? So, you know, the United States has no choice but to defend Israel if shit gets real crazy. They're not going to leave. You know what I'm saying? All right. So, what does it say? All right. It says, I'll read this again. The U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio acknowledged the attacks in a statement, stressing that American forces are not involved in strikes against Iran. Israel advised us that they believe this action was necessary for its self defense. President Trump and the administration have taken all necessary steps to protect our forces and remain in close contact with our regional partners, Rubio added, warning that Iran should not target United States interests or personnel. Right? But where does Israel get all this money to do what they're doing from America? So America, like you're guilty by association. It said Netanyahu in his statement thanked Trump for his leadership in confronting Iran's nuclear weapons program. Israel has been warning for more than a decade it would attack Iran's nuclear program and energy facilities if they reached a stage where they could be weaponized. The two countries are longtime foes. All right. Yeah, they're longtime foes. All right. So what's next? What's next is going to see is wait and see what Iran does after that. And um, I'm gonna probably do another lesson after this one because dealing with Britain upping the ante on their nuclear weapons program themselves. Um, I saw an article feeding in about it. There's a lot of stuff going on overseas, man. A lot of stuff going on overseas that we need to really pay attention to, man. All right, so I just want to bring this to the forefront, shed a little bit of light on this, and speak on it a little bit. Bring out a couple scriptures, and because that's what we do. You know, I read it again. Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 1. It says, "Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I shall put in thy mouth, saith the Lord." And that's what we're commissioned to do. So we might be out here, we might have 4 or 5 brothers put forth the same lesson on the same topic and sound like a broken record, but that's our job. That's what we are, you know what I'm saying? That's what we are told to do by Yahweh by Shema Shai through the Spirit, warning of what's to come, man. And putting a pathway out there for those that are trying to seek salvation, right? That are able to take heed to these warnings and take the proper steps. Take heed to these warnings and take the proper steps to fall into the good graces of Yahweh by Shema Shai. All right. Lord, when this lesson is edifying and serve this purpose for the hopeful elect, the ones who truly believe in the name Yahweh Shema Shai. With that, I'd like to say, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Harakah Kodash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostle, the great millstone, and my elder heron one as well. Salutation to the argument of the pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Shem Shai. Shalom.